has now topped 5 million. Now, Mr. Armstrong is backed by several departments and many employees responsible to him for preparing and printing and mailing the millions of magazines and many additional pieces of literature each month. Publishing coordinator Ray Wright reports to Mr. Armstrong on the circulation of The Plain Truth.
Very good. I got some very exciting news for you. We had some phenomenal growth in The Plain Truth this year. The responses since about June of last year have been phenomenal. And the growth is, well, give you an idea here, Mr. Armstrong. We've actually added over 700,000 new subscribers to The Plain Truth since January of this year, which is
700,000.
700,000.
More than 2/3 of a million.
If you think about it, that is already almost the total number we added in all of 1981, and we're only talking about through June. So we got another 6 months to go. So I don't think there'll be any problem of us going to 5 million circulation.
Well, what about the newsstand circulation?
Well, the newsstand circulation right now we're holding at 1.5 million. So when you look at the worldwide circulation, we're talking about 5 million copies of the PT circulated either through subscription or newsstands.
Are the people taking them?
Yes, sir.
Are they getting into the hands of the public?
We think so. We've got 7,000 church members throughout the country that are involved with the local pastors who are the local managers of the program.
But I'll tell you, one of the important things is the way our own membership are responding and volunteering for that sort of thing. And,
tremendous.
You know, sometimes I feel like getting discouraged. I wonder if our people are as thoroughly converted as they ought to be. And then I find how they respond on things like this.
Right.
I get reports from merchants where we've held Feast of Tabernacles. And they say that they've never met people like our people. That certainly does encourage me. Our people are dedicated, and they are different. They are a changed people. They're different than the people of the world. And the whole difference is something that the world notices and just says, well, that's the kind of people that you enjoy having around.
You know, it's interesting to watch this group grow, because when you think about it, we have 7,000 church members now involved in this program.
7,000.
Today, brethren, you are actually planting the seeds of the truth in many people's minds. You're placing the magazines out on the stand for people to see.
There are more than 14,000 locations distributing The Plain Truth in the United States, and many more in other countries. How does the program work? The newsstand program is made possible by the enthusiasm and energy of members of the church. One of the most successful programs is run by the San Jose, California congregation. 140 local brethren, ranging in age from 8 to 89, contribute their time and talents to distributing over 28,000 magazines each month. By teamwork and cooperation, member participation in the newsstand program saves the work over $1.5 million a year. Since 1976, over 50 million Plain Truths have been distributed from newsstands. In 1982 alone, over 16 million were made available to the public. Since it began, the newsstand program has been responsible for adding more than 900,000 subscribers to the Plain Truth's subscription list.
You think about it, there's a scripture in Psalms, I think it's 68:11, which says, "Great was the company of those that published it." Yeah. Now, for the first time in the history of God's work, we got 7,000 church members that are involved in this massive publishing work, getting that gospel out.
Ray. I hadn't thought of that.
We are actually reaching 1 out of every 25 households in the United States.
1 out of every 25?
1 out of every 25.
You know, that's amazing. Well, listen, Ray, do you know of any church, any denomination that has a publishing program like we do?
No, sir.
Like the Plain Truth, the Good News, the Worldwide News, the correspondence course, Bible correspondence course, Youth 82, soon Youth 83,
Yeah.
and all the books and booklets, the side
Languages.
weekly report going out to all of our ministers all over the world. Publishing has done more for the growth of this work than any other one thing.
Through the printed word and by radio and television, God works through his apostle to reach this world with the good news of the world tomorrow.
2.5 million subscribers, except the very fact that
That message is the same as was preached by Jesus Christ and the early apostles. But with the advances in communications technology, the means by which the gospel is preached has been changed drastically.
born again. Now, those words that were used.
When Christ's end-time apostle sits down before the cameras in his studio in Pasadena, he has at his fingertips the means to reach millions of people around the world. It is Sunday morning in Los Angeles. The World Tomorrow telecast is being aired across the United States. As Mr. Armstrong announces the special toll-free number, in Pasadena, nearly 100 operators are responding to viewers' requests for the literature and the plain truth. In August, Mr. Armstrong, accompanied by Media Services Director Larry Omasta and Media Liaison David Hume, visited the Watchline area to see firsthand the response to the World Tomorrow television program.
This year, we're on twice as many stations as we were last year, but the calls have tripled over last year. We were averaging around 2,700 calls a program last year, and now we're averaging around 7,700. And we went up from about 70 stations to over 145. So the work this past year has certainly grown.
When we get even more calls, though, when we're on in New York and
That's right.
Chicago, don't we?
Yes, WOR is our best station. And then WGN is our second best. And probably this morning is our third best station, usually. Those are the three big stations we have.
Oh, I see Channel 11 here.
Yes, sir.
It's third.
Yes, it's third.
What about the new station in New York? It's
It's
fourth.
WNEW.
about fourth.
NEW.
That's about fourth.
Is it?
Yes.
Yes.
And then fifth would be the other station here in LA in the evening.
It would.
Yes.
Yes.
KG.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah. There's such a huge population in all of these places.
Yeah.
After nearly 50 years of broadcasting, Mr. Armstrong knows the importance of selecting the best stations and time slots for the World Tomorrow TV and radio programs. Mr. David Hume reports to Mr. Armstrong on the current situation and to ask his advice on new opportunities as they become available.
This is all of our television coverage to date. Now, this breaks it down into the various network affiliations. We're on all the colored ones, and then the dark ones here are where there's cable coverage. Now, not everybody in that area would be able to receive it, but a lot of people, 40–50% of the people, have got cable in their homes. So it's really getting filled in. A lot of this, of course, come in the last year or so.
Where do we stand now on new radio and television stations?
Well, currently, of course, we've had some budgetary constraints, but we are still able to buy a few new stations. And the reason we're able to do that is simply because in the last few weeks and months, we've been able to cut back in some areas where there's a lot of duplication. And we've been able to extend the coverage a little bit further. So by making some economies, we've been able to even go ahead and buy some new stations despite the budgetary situation. This morning, I had an offer from Boise, Idaho.
One more station in a medium-sized American city. But buying time on that station means that 114,000 more people will have the opportunity to hear the end-time warning and the good news from the work of God. God opens the doors, and his apostle and those who are called to support him continue to walk through those doors.